Hi guys, my name is Unique. Welcome to the channel. If you are new here, then you should know that the content covered on this channel is Canadian immigration and financial literacy. If you feel as though this content may be for you, then please remember to comment, like, share, and most importantly, subscribe. And please do not forget to hit that notification bell so you will be the first to know whenever there is a new video uploaded. If you are already an existing subscriber, welcome back guys. So today's video is going to be focusing on whether or not a permanent resident of Canada can actually lose your permanent resident status. Before I get into that, I want to just say Merry Christmas to all my subscribers. If you do not celebrate Christmas, then happy holidays to you all. I also want you guys to know that I appreciate you guys for taking the time out, clicking on the videos, viewing the videos, liking, commenting, and even just subscribing, sharing, all of the above. It does not go unnoticed. Definitely appreciative of the support. With that being said, stay tuned guys, and I'll see you shortly. Hey guys, welcome back. So again, today's video is going to be focusing on whether or not a permanent resident of Canada is actually able to lose your permanent resident status. The answer to that question is yes, and I have 5 ways in which a permanent resident of Canada can lose their permanent resident status. The first one is citizenship. If a permanent resident applies for citizenship status, once they become a citizen, they automatically are no longer a permanent resident. So that's one way that you can lose your permanent resident status, by becoming a Canadian citizen. The second way you can lose your permanent resident status is if you have committed a crime or a severe crime, if you have breached any human rights, or if you've breached any security. Third way in which a person can lose your permanent resident status is if they renounce your permanent resident status. So that means a person that no longer wants to be a permanent resident of Canada, they're renouncing their right to do so. The fourth way in which a person can lose your permanent resident status is a misrepresentation. What this means is that, for example, say you have a person from a Caribbean island that is being sponsored by a Canadian citizen to come to Canada, and at the time of sponsorship, that person being sponsored in the islands has 2 children on the island, but on their application they put that they have no dependent children. And what will happen is, once this person gets into Canada and later down the road, if they choose to want to then apply for the children that they have left behind, they will not be able to do so because they did not put on their application that these children were their dependents. And what will oftentimes happen is you the person that failed to do so and is now looking to do an application for these children that you did not claim as dependent children in the initial stages, they will look at you and say that there was acts of misrepresentation, and you could actually in fact lose your permanent resident status as a result of that. Other types of misrepresentation is going into a marriage that is not genuine for the sole purpose of gaining permanent resident status. If that is brought to their attention, that will be classed as a form of misrepresentation, and a person can in result lose their status. Okay, the 5th way a person can lose your permanent resident status is if they have not fulfilled the permanent residency obligations. Okay, and I will get into examples of permanent residency obligations. Actually, I'm just going to give you one example. So normally a permanent resident, they have to be on Canadian soil for 730 days in every 5-year period. So when a person is issued their permanent resident card, that card is valid for 5 years. And if they choose not to apply for their citizenship after the 3-year mark, then they can just continue to renew their permanent resident card every 5 years. However, it means that you will be bound to ensuring that you fulfill the permanent residency obligations, and that Canadian person, or sorry, that permanent resident will have to be on Canadian soil for 730 days in every 5-year period. If that does not happen, if those requirements are not fulfilled, a person can in fact be at risk of losing their permanent resident status. In the event that you are a person that is in this situation, you're at risk of losing your permanent resident status because you stayed out of the country for too long. There are some things that you can do. There are also some things that you should know as well. For any permanent resident that is leaving Canada, if you are accompanying a spouse, common law or conjugal partner, or parent or child that is a Canadian citizen, then you will not have to worry of fulfilling that 730-day requirement in every 5-year period. That's some of the things that they have in place that exempts people who are accompanying others who are Canadian citizen. Like I said, spouses, common law partners, conjugal partners, parent or children that are Canadian citizens. If you are accompanying them as a permanent resident, you are not at risk of losing your permanent residency status if you have not fulfilled that 730 days requirement. However, it does not mean that they cannot issue you, some form of notice saying that we do not feel as if you have fulfilled the obligations, for your permanent resident status. And what you will do is you will have to file what is called a notice of appeal with the Immigration Appeal Division, and you will have 60 days in which to do so from the day that you receive that notice. Okay, I will go on the Immigration and Refugee Board website and show you guys how you can access that form, as well as other information as well. Other things that you should also know is if you are a permanent resident and you are accompanying another permanent resident that is a spouse, common law partner, conjugal partner, child, or parent that is also a permanent resident outside of the country, and that permanent resident, they're working for a Canadian business or the government outside of Canada, you will not be at risk for losing your permanent resident status. Okay, other thing that you should also know is anyone that is accompanying a Canadian citizen, whether it be a spouse, common law partner, conjugal partner, parent, or child that is employed, as I listed previously, but that applied to permanent residents, accompanying permanent residents. This is permanent residents accompanying citizens who are working for Canadian businesses or the government outside of Canada are also not at risk of losing their permanent resident status. Like I've said before, it does not mean that they cannot issue you a letter stating that they do not feel as if you have fulfilled the requirements for your permanent residency obligations. Like I said before, all you'll have to do is go onto the Immigration and Refugee Board website. You will have 60 days from the day of notice to submit what is called a notice of appeal to the Immigration Appeal Division for your case to be heard. Some things that you should know that they may be looking for is if you fall into any of the 3 categories of people that I listed, you will need to show proof. So you will need to show that your partner or your parent or your child is in fact a Canadian citizen, and you should have no issues there. If the Canadian citizen that you're accompanying is overseas for work purposes for a Canadian business or a Canadian government, then all you have to do is show proof of that, and that should not be an issue. If for whatever reason you are not able to show or you don't have, good enough reasons as to why you were not able to fulfill your obligation requirements, you can take the humanitarian and compassionate direction. And what they're looking for is to see what are your ties to Canada. Do you have children that are in need of your support? Do you have, a relationship built within your community? Are you a student? Do you have a business? They want to see what ties you have to possibly, reverse their decision and allow you to keep your permanent residence status. Okay, so stay tuned while I do a quick run through of the Immigration and Refugee Board website, so you guys are able to find the notice of appeal and just other information that you can browse through to get yourself, familiar with how the process works. So hopefully this information can be of use to anyone that may possibly be in this scenario, facing this type of situation. Okay, into Google and you're going to type Immigration and Refugee Board, and you'll see it pop up, Immigration and Refugee Board of Canada, which is the top selection here, which I'm going to select, and it should bring us directly to the Immigration and Refugee Board website. While on the website, I'm going to go to the top right hand corner where I'm going to type in residency obligation. I don't need to do so as it's already pre-populated for me. So I'm just going to select residency obligation, hit the search button. And as you can see, we are going to select the top option where it says notice of appeal, residency obligation appeal. And we are going to scroll down so you guys can see the information. So I strongly recommend that if you are someone that's currently facing this type of an issue, that you ensure that you read all the information on this website here in regards to a notice of appeal. It is to your benefit to do so. As you can see, it has a 60-day time limit in which you must complete and submit the notice of appeal form from the date of getting notice of a refusal of your permanent residency status or not completing or fulfilling the residency obligation. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to select notice of appeal - residency obligation appeal. As you can see, it is highlighted and underlined as well. So we're going to select that, and it will bring up the form, which is only 3 pages. It's very self-explanatory. As you can see, some of the things it's asking for is just your name, what language you speak, which one of these options apply to you. You're going to fill out all the information that they're asking you for. Not very hard. Like I said, this is only a 3-page form. Very, very easy to complete. Shouldn't take you more than 30 minutes at most if you already have this information on hand. Okay guys, so that concludes our video for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you appreciated the content. Please remember to comment, like, share, and subscribe. And most importantly, do not forget to hit that notification bell so you will always be the first to know whenever there is a new video uploaded. Thank you guys so much for watching. Happy holidays, and I will see you guys on the next video. Bye.